Welcome everybody to Structured Literacy session number 2. I'm Haley Harrington, the Education Director. It's great to see some familiar faces this morning and so thrilled that everyone is here. We have a very full workshop, so I'm just going to pass it over to Mary Connors, our literacy specialist, who will walk us through Structured Literacy number 2.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, today at the Structured Literacy Workshop, first we're going to do a review. Then we're going to do sound letter mapping, online sound letter mapping. Going to practice different ways of doing it with a magnetic board. And then I sent you a hard copy of the sound letter mapping. So if you were able to print that out, I would bring that forward along with a blank piece of paper and a pencil. And then we're going to go to the blending, scoop and sweep, blending online practice using the blending board from the University of Florida, blending word chains on the magnetic board, and blending word chains on the whiteboard. Word chains are words that we change one consonant in it, and we get another word that rhymes with that particular word. They call that onset and rhyme in the world of reading. Sight words, heart words is a new way of doing sight words using decoding. We're going to use index cards. I'll use Jamboard because if I held up index cards and I showed them to you, they'd be very, very tiny. So I'm going to show you how to use the index cards with the Jamboard. Then we're going to do sight words, rapid recall. So after we decode the sight words, then we practice recalling them in an automatic fashion. And then we're going to end with some sight word games that you can do on site and also in the site. Okay. Now I hit the small button to make this. Oh, I stopped sharing my screen. Okay, and now I share again.
With the audio, right?
And then I have to find my board with all the, so I don't want that one. How do I find my top board? I opened up this again.
The browser, right?
Can't find it.
So Mary, what you can do is hit new share. So you see where it says share screen, hit the little button on the bottom, like right next to the green button.
Yeah.
It says new share. Can you do that?
Yep, I did.
Do little screens pop up? Do you see options there?
Yeah, so I go to File Explorer.
Which is it? I guess the thing that you're looking for is not popping up.
No.
Is it on the internet?
Yeah. Okay,
so whatever you can find that's got like the internet page is probably just on a different tab when you hit new share.
Okay. Zoom's
fun. We've all like I know all of us have had this moment where you're like,
am I seeing the sound letter mapping right there? It's on the, it's highlighted on my screen. I just think.
Is it a PDF?
It's a PDF. It's sitting right there.
iPhone, smart, post attendee. Huh. I'm not sure how to get back into it again.
So Mary, let's maybe restart. So we'll stop share currently. All right. And so we're looking for the slides, right, Mary?
Yeah.
Yep, which are on your browser, so your internet, whether that's Chrome or Safari. That's the tab we want to get to now.
Okay, so if I share, post Zoom, HP, iPhone, iPad, whiteboard.
So I'm gonna guess, let's try the post Zoom and it'll just be a different tab on that one. I think that's how we did it yesterday.
Okay, sorry.
There it is. All right, I see it up top, structured literacy with the yellow box.
Okay.
We got it, we're there. Awesome,
Thank
you everybody.
Thank you everybody for your patience. Welcome to Structured Literacy Intervention Workshop number 2. We're gonna be doing a review first, and then we're gonna do sound letter mapping, blending, and high frequency words. I wanted to touch bases with some questions that people had last time. Use and say it and move it with older students. So students in foundation will learn to sound out words with SIMI as is directly related to the word found in the decodable text. Students in the SLI program are in the very basic foundations level. So we're starting at the consonant vowel consonant words. So that's the very first step. These are students who have difficulty decoding. So our older students, when they do decoding, they're going to use that CVC word in breaking it down with syllables and word parts. For example, there's the compound word myself. So that has 2 syllables. So let's look at it and together clap it out. So myself is 2 claps, and you sound out each syllable with a say it and move it in sequence. So the first part would be my, you're all familiar with that. And then self would be the second, self, and then you put it together, myself. That's how you are going to apply some of the basics that you're learning with the foundations to students in the future with your students are at the multisyllabic level. Here's another one, for example, lesson. How many syllables in lesson? Does anybody know? 2 is right, so we clap it out, lesson, and then tap it. And so again, less, and then sun. And so that's a way that you're going to apply the very basic skills that you're learning now to older students. And there'll be workshops coming up that will have more application for the older students. So if you don't have a student who's in the SLI program and you are working with the older students who need decoding issues, what you're learning now will apply to it later on. So the population service in the SLI program, there's 18 students total. These students are below benchmark in the board testing. They're the students who cannot decode words while reading the text. They are students who are usually 2 grade levels below their performance level in reading. They're students who need oral practice prior to sounding out words and who benefit from word practice before reading the book. And these are the students who will be using only decodable text. That means the words in the text are used that we had practiced prior to. This is what we did last week. We did the phonemic awareness. It was all oral. We practiced eliminating sounds in the beginning. We practiced eliminating sounds at the end. We practiced substituting sounds. This is all oral, and it's Kilpatrick. The Kilpatrick book will be in the site where the materials are. And for the 2 students who are online, we're gonna try and be more efficient in emailing you a list of words that you have. Yes, Kathy, you have a question? I see your hand.
Okay, I just want to tell you an experience I had regarding phonemic awareness. I have a child who has no problems hearing the beginning sound. But when we move to the middle sound, that is difficult. Now, I know that this child favors visual over auditory. So I wrote the word floating, and then I wrote the word FLOA space ING, and he was able to give it to me. And once I did 2 examples visually, He was able to do all the rest of them orally.
Beautiful, nice job. Yes, I've done it in writing as well, because it is the middle one is the hardest one for the kids to get in eliminating. We usually say that's in the F section of the Kilpatrick book, and we usually stay in that area for quite a while. So yeah, perfect. Kudos to you, and thanks for sharing that. That's a strategy that everybody can use. Say it and move it. We use the decodable words. As you know, Kathy, in the back of the book, Flyleaf has the words listed there. The whole phonics books that we have available in person. There's a lesson plan that goes with each book, and you use that lesson plan to find your words. One thing I wanted to, I gave you a lot of information, a lot of strategies last time on how to do say it and move it. I mean, we did it with the head, shoulder, knees, and toes, down the arm, the hands, the manipulatives. You don't do all of them in one session. You pick one that fits the learning strategy for your student, and that's the one you're going to stay with for that particular session. So I don't know if I mentioned that in my last workshop. Please do not do all of them at once. You'll never get to the book, not even in 2 sessions. And there's always going to be a focus with the CVC words. We focus on the short vowels, and last time we did the apple, and then we also did the octopus, the hand signals. So that's what we did last time, because our focus is right now on the CVC words. Now, this is what a 2-day lesson plan format will look like. So we're going to look at some of the things we did in the past, some of the things we're going to do today, and we're also going to look at what we're going to do in the future. So the skill set, we're starting at the very basics in these workshops, but many of you are at different levels. So we start with the focus, the CVC words. The book is listed, Flyleaf Online Learners, and for them, and the whole phonics is in-person learning. And these in-person will be in the folders, okay? And then we start out with the Kilpatrick warm-up, all oral. Then we do the say it and move it. After we do say it and move it, we move into the sound letter mapping, which you're gonna see is a lot like say it and moving. Now we're gonna apply it to the alphabetical principles. So then we go to the blending board, word families associated with decodable words. We're going to do high frequency words. The words are located in the back of Flyleaf and Whole Phonics lesson plan book. We're going to connect text to reading in the next workshop, reading words and phrases. We're going to do read text. So many people know about the echo reading, and I saw John do it with a student beautifully the other day. And that will be in the number 3 learning section. And then we're going to talk about doing the opposite and the partner of decoding, and that is encoding. That's dictating words and doing some spelling and short phrases and sentences. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. So sound letter mapping is putting phonemes. Phonemes are the sounds with graphemes. Graphemes are the letters and the representation. And writing out words. We're going to sound letter map. You have your sound letter mapping forms that were emailed to you. If you're able to print them out and you have a printer, great. If you don't, you can follow along in different ways, but this is what they look like. So if you have those, you want to get those out. And then we're going to go to the blending, taking decodable words and making new words out of them using the blending board, magnetic board, and the whiteboard. And actually, you can do it also on a white sheet of paper. So I'm going to show you that. I give you multiple materials because we don't always have all the materials at the home site, but we can't share the screen. So I'm trying to give you ones that you can do without sharing the screen. Hopefully someday we might get the SLI tutors to have the option to share the screen. We're working on that. I know that we did that at one time. Right, Fernanda? Why not? We'll get back to that again. And then high frequency words. These are the words students learn by heart. We call them heart words because part of the sight words, they already know the sounds. And there's like maybe one sound in the sight word that's different. And they're the exception to the rule and can be taught with different forms of repetition and decoding. So the goal will be able to segment sounds and apply them to the letters that make that sound. That's our goal for sound letter mapping. Remember, every section, everything we do has a goal and an objective. The objective is the student will be able to segment and sound out the word in the correct order. The objective is the student will be able to identify the grapheme that goes with that sound and will write it out correctly in the box. And the objective, the student will be able to read the word and spell it correctly on the line provided next to the box. So here's our words that we're going to be doing. It's from the book of Pagan Away. And if you want to jot down those words, I'll give you a little bit of time before we go into using them in different ways. And I'll grab a swig of water while you're doing that. Okay, so this is say it. This is sound letter mapping, which you're going to see some parts of it are familiar, and then we're going to add a part to it. So the first word that we have on our list is wig. So then you have the student do wi, I, g, s. What's that? That's sound letter mapping, right? We learned that last time. Now here's a step that is added to it. So you're going to take it back and you go, what letter, we're tying it to the alphabetical principle, makes the W sound? And then they're going to pick W. And then what letter makes the I sound? They're going to pick the I. You might have to help them find these words, and you might have to do the say it and move it a couple of times. What letter makes the G sound? G. And then what letter makes the S sound? Then the S. And since we don't have anything there, we just put a line through that one, and then they write it in the box next to it. Okay, the second one on the list is hit. Show them the word and then have them sound it out. P, I, T. Okay, what letter makes the P sound? And then I'll give you the P. What letter makes the I sound? They'll give you an I. You can put that on your paper. I see people are writing it down on their paper. What letter makes the T sound? Oops, I forgot to put the I in. And then you're going to put the slash on the two that don't have anything in it. And then they're going to write the word on the side. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Nope, I'm going to stop here. And then I think I can go to the next slide. So this is what your paper looks like. So you've been putting your letters in the paper, and you can take your pennies and pull them down and make the sounds the same way. So we have the word Mac. So what letter makes the sound after they pull their letter down? And what letter makes A? And then what letter makes X? That's going to be a hard one. And then right here, you don't have anything. So put it on the side over here. Okay, so there's different ways of doing it. So I'm going to show you another way of doing it is we have some magnetic boards. We have 2 students who are learning at home, and those 2 students, we're going to get magnetic boards to you. So I'm just going to show you the board and the way we could do it with the board. The next one is kids. So showing kids. So it's K, I, the S, and then you're going ask them what letter makes the k sound, and they're gonna put the k in there. Let me grab my marker around here. We do have magnetic boards at the on-site too, but at the on-site, you're going to be actually using your say it and move it board that's right there in the material. So it's flat, and then you have the manipulators. So you'll be doing it with Lego. So write the I sound, D, D, S, S, and then a line, and then they write it on the side. Yes, Catherine. I see your hand is up.
It is up because both the word wigs and kids, the S is not the S sound, it's a Z sound. So how do we explain that?
We explain that by saying that that particular letter has two sounds, and then have them pick the correct sound. That's a good question. Thanks for asking it. The next word is big. So you're gonna use and we're hopefully gonna get a board like this too, because Catherine, you're online, right? Yeah. So, and it would be what letter makes, first you do the say it and move it, B, I, G. And then there's what letter makes B, B, what letter makes I, what letter makes G, G, slash, and you're gonna put it on the side. Okay, so that's say it and move it with a magnetic board. You have it on paper that you could do it hard copy, and then there's also erasable papers located in the material book and the SLI material corner of each site. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to show you. I think I wanted to show you. Oh, I have to do this. Right. And then you can take all of the words will be on the side. So you'll have, we just went over, I believe, 5 words. So you take these 5 words that will all be listed on the side. I showed you the words in different places so that you would know about what materials we have to use them with. And you can write a short sentence. So give them, Max likes wigs. So you could write, dictate that. And they already have the Max. They're going to type it out. They might need help spelling likes. So you would give that to them since that's not one of the words. Likes wigs. And those are words that they use in practicing the sound letter mapping. The favorite part of all the students that I've ever done sound letter mapping is when they get to write a sentence. They love it when they get to write a sentence. They will always start the sentence without capitalizing the first letter. And they will always forget the period. So remember to do that part when you are doing the sound letter mapping exercise. Okay. Yeah, another question, Catherine? Your hand's still up. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, the student will segment and blend words. The student will blend words using word families, and those are words that rhyme, but also we do blending all the time with words that do not rhyme. We do that through the decodable approach. The student will recognize the similar patterns in the words and sound it out before blending the words. The student will be able to scoop and sweep decodable words, and the student will be able to read all the words blended with 100% accuracy. And I'm going to go right to that one right now. So for example, these are the words that we just did. This is scooping and sweeping. So it's wi, I, g, s. So that's scooping each individual sound, and then you sweep it, wigs. So that's continuous sound blending. P, I, T. And then you sweep it, pit. M, A, S. Sweep, max. K, I, D, S. Sweep it, kids. And then big, B, I, G, big. And some of our onset letters in the beginning, that's your first letter, will have a more of what we call a continuous sound when you say it, like when, really emphasize it. And then you have some letters that we call stop letters, pit. If you feel it on your throat, pit doesn't have much of a vibration, but wig has a vibration and you can hold it longer. Max, when you're doing the continuous max, you can hold longer, feel the vibration on your throat. Kids, k, the stop sound, they call that in the articulation world. And big, big, they call that a stop sound. So that gives you an idea of how to use the scooping and blending. And we're going to do that throughout the practice. Let me hopefully go to the blending board and then be able to come back in again without getting lost. So, I have to make all you guys smaller. So here's our blending board. So you'll start out, what makes the A sound? And then the student will give you A. What makes the N sound? And the student will give you N. What an is the word, and sweep. And then you're going to ask them what letter makes the sound if we put that in front of the A. And they'll give you M, and then what's the word? And again, we scoop and sweep. M, and, no. What's the word? Man. Okay, what letter makes the D sound? They're gonna give you D, and then you say the word D, and scoop and sweep, Dan. And you see they print up on the side for you. I love this particular site because you can give control to the kids. For those of you who don't have control to share the screen, the site staff are familiar with this link, and they can put that link in the chat and the student can tap on it and they can use the letters, and you can give them the letters to be able to do. So what makes the K sound? Can. Okay, so now we're gonna look at the sound at the end. We change that to D. What makes D? They give you D, K, D. What makes the H sound in the beginning? The letter H, had, H, add, D, scoop and sweep. What letter in the beginning makes the F sound? F, add, and then we said, all right, now the D at the end. Can we change that to a T sound? And yes, we got the word F, at, T. And then if we change the first letter to a K sound, what do you get? K, at, T. And if you change it to H, what do you get? An H, K, at, T. And then they're gonna read the words. So hat, cat, and fat. Oh, what two letters do you notice that are in all of those words? And they'll say AT. And then you'll say to them, what sound does AT make together? At. And then they read these: had, cad. Okay, then we'll say, what two letters are in each of those two words? And they'll say add, and what letters do they make? A and D. So again, it's sound and letter representation back and forth. And then these are called onset rhyme words, and that means the first letter changes and the second is the one that rhymes. They spell it R-I-M-E. Dan and can, A-N, and man, the A-N is a familiar sound with that one. And this goes all the way up to blends and digraphs and silent E. I mean, you can do everything with this site. So I recommend going on your computer, just say blending board, University of Florida, and it'll automatically come up. But the PowerPoint will also give you the link. Okay, so those are the words that we just did. So you can also do a blending board with a magnetic board. Let me pull that up for you. And while my magnets don't fall on the floor like they did in practice. What I would suggest is getting your words already set up and ready to go. And of course, when you come here, you don't have time to do that. But I would suggest actually having the student be a part of finding the letters and the letter sounds beforehand. And then in the first session, setting this up. Let's see, let me make this so I can see people and see if you can see the board or not. Can we see the board?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we have add. So what letter makes the H sound? Don't necessarily go in order. And then they're going to pull up the H, of course. What's that word? Scoop and sweep. Add. Okay, what letter makes the sound? And then they're going to put the M up there. Let's scoop and sweep. Add. What's the word mad? The F sound. What the first sound, what letter makes the, don't make a mistake and give the letter away. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I just did it. Now, so it gets to be tricky, but you do this all pretty fast. Add, fad. And it's the same thing that we did actually on the blending board. Why are we doing it on the magnetic board? Because it is, what's the #1 word in teaching reading, especially to our younger learners, is multisensory. So here is at. What letter will make the P sound? As you can see, it just repeats pat. What letter makes the H, add, scoop, forget, scoop and sweep. And what letter makes the K sound? Cat. Okay, so you get the idea on that. And the AN, same thing. We're going to scoop and sweep. What letter makes a sound? Man. What makes a D? Dan, D, Dan. And then K, and scoop and sweep. So that gives you an idea of how you could do it on the magnetic board, which we have located on the Insight spaces, and we're going to try and get magnetic boards to our home people, which we only have 2 of. Now here's a way you could do it on the whiteboard, but you could also do it on a white piece of paper. And how you would do it on the white piece of paper is, let me go to the next slide. I'm going to get a marker right here. So what letter makes I? Right there. They give you an I. What letter makes G? They give you G. And now I would, if you're not doing this on a whiteboard, so you don't have to erase, I would do, how many letters are we going to do? 4. So I would write 4 of these. Because you can do this on a white piece of paper. And then on, not like I have it on the slide, but I would put the letters at the top that you're going to be adding. Let me show you it in a minute. So there you have it. So take a white piece of paper or a lined paper either, and do that now. So we're going to be doing 2. We're doing it. And then put the letters at the top that we're going to be changing. And then do 4 its. Okay, so I'll give you some time to get those copied out, and then we'll put them together. Okay, so on the first one, what letter makes the, and don't necessarily go in order, mix it up for the kids. What letter makes the W sound? And the student is going to write the letter right in front of that. Or you, so what's the word? Wig. Okay, what letter? And have them do this on a white piece of paper at home as well. What letter makes the P sound? Of course, we have our pig. Don't forget to scoop and sweep. What letter makes the D sound? D, egg, dig, scoop and sweep. So you have it like this. And then what letter makes the K sound? And they might say K, but we'll say, well, what letter do we have up here on the board that makes the K sound? Because like Kathy said, a lot of the letters have two different sounds. So I'm going to focus on the C sound. Actually, so then we read the words down: pig, wig, pig, digs, and then you see how we do that. And now the same idea here. So you don't have to write the words on the side because the words already comes out. So pa, fa makes p, pit. Fa makes f, it. What letter makes the s sound? S, it, sit. And what letter makes the k, it. Kit. Always scoop, sweep, scoop, sweep, scoop, sweep when you say the words. And then have the student read the words in a line down. So do you see how that can be done on the whiteboard and also on a white piece of paper? So once again, I'm teaching you multiple ways of doing the same task with a lot of repetition. When you are working with your student and you're doing one of these tasks, you will pick one and do one of those. And this is what it looks like. I think I put, yeah. I put a C and it should have been a D. Came up with the word sig and not dig. We don't want students to have the word, that word, that's for sure. Okay, any questions so far? Does people see that this is doable on site and also online? Because last time I don't really think I focused enough online, and I wanted to make sure that I included the online people in this session. Okay, the goal is the students will read high frequency words. This is really changing because when I first started doing this program, not even a year ago, we were doing high frequency words by memorization, by pointing them out. And now the research has indicated that we still use decodable strategies to teach high frequency words. So the student will identify and read high frequency words in isolation, short phrases, and in text. These words are called heart words, and I'm going to show you a video of what that is going to look like. I'm going to show you actually a couple of videos. Hopefully you'll be able to see it and hear it.
Take a look at this familiar word. How long did it take you to read it? You probably read it immediately, effortlessly. Researchers estimate that when a word is familiar to you, you read it in less than 1/20th of a second. Words that we read effortlessly are called sight words.
Sight words can be high-frequency words like these. Sight words can also be low-frequency words like these. If you read these words effortlessly, they are sight words for you.
The collection of words you can read without conscious effort is called your sight word memory. Literate adults have a sight word memory of between 30,000 and 70,000 words.
Everyone's sight word memory is a little different. A first grader's sight word memory often includes words like this. A doctor's sight word memory often includes words like this.
The evidence is very clear that the way to get a word anchored into our sight word memory is through decoding. Once we decode a word successfully several times, it sticks in our brain, where we can recognize and retrieve it effortlessly.
High-frequency words are often the first words we strive to anchor into our students' sight word memories. That's because high-frequency words are words that occur most often in print. At Really Great Reading, we call these words heart words. Heart words are the first words students should learn by heart. These words need to become sight words for our students because they appear in text so frequently, and automatic retrieval of these words plays a big part in reading fluently.
Commonly, educators try to teach high-frequency words through rote memorization. They use flashcards or put them on a word wall, hoping that if students see the words enough times, they will stick.
This isn't much different than what we do in geography when we ask students to look at the shape of a state and then name it. The state with this shape is California. This shape is Florida. Decades of research, however, tell us that rote memorization targets students' visual memory and is not the most effective way to learn to read words. And decades of experience tell us it's a method that's boring for everyone involved.
To store words in our sight word memory, we need automatic letter sound associations, proficient phonemic awareness, and the ability to connect the sounds in a word to its written form. When we focus solely on rote memorization, we leave out the part that we know works best: connecting sounds to letters.
When high-frequency words don't follow common patterns, it can be tricky connecting sounds to letters. However, even in tricky words, there are lots of parts of the word that make sense. It's not like we look at the word said and say glorp. Most irregularly spelled heart words like from, what, and said have only one irregular letter-sound relationship. This is the secret to helping students remember tricky heart words. It's how to make the tricky sticky.
Really Great Reading's developing a free tool that will help children quickly build tricky heart words into their sight word memories. It's called Heart Word Magic.
Heart Word Magic will leverage students' phonemic awareness and phonics knowledge to make learning high-frequency words fun and effective. To see an example using the word said, click here.
Okay, I'm going to do the example of the because that's one of our sight words in Dot and Dan.
Let's examine the word the, as in the book is on the shelf. Let's see if we can figure out which parts of the we know and which parts we have to learn by heart.
The has two sounds, The first sound, is spelled with the digraph th. We can read this part using our phonics knowledge. The second sound, is spelled with the letter e. This is the one part we have to know by heart.
We might see the word the in different shapes, colors, and sizes. The. These all have the same letters and they all say the.
Now let's see if you can remember how to spell the word the. The.
We can use our phonics knowledge to spell the first sound. The first sound is th. How do we spell th? That's right, the digraph th.
The last sound, is the part we have to learn by heart. Do you remember how to spell in this word? You're right. We use the letter E. T-H-E. The.
Remembering heart words is easier when we know there is just one part to learn by heart.
Of course, the is a tricky word because some people pronounce it the, and in that case, it's not a heart word. We can sound out all the parts to it. As Haley pointed out to me, she goes, I have an issue with the word. And I go, yes, some people say the. In that case, it's most people say the. Okay, those are the sight words that we're going to be working with. So if you want to jot them down, you can jot them down now. We're going to be working with them on the second form that I sent home is the heart word form. So I'll give you a couple minutes to do that, and I'll take a swig of water while you do that. You have a question, Kath?
Yes, the word the that she went through. I would think that we would be teaching the word the before they've gotten to the blend TH.
Yeah.
So how do we explain that one?
You know what? And that's a question when somebody taught this to me not too long ago, like literally 2 weeks ago. I had asked that question, and you just teach it as a new sound. You just as you teach the sound that is different, you teach that as a new sound as well. Because you're right, the is in a CVC that's in Dot and Dan. Yet they don't know the digraphs. Digraphs are one of the things that come after blends, and that's like 3 steps down. So
would we then say that the is 2 heart word, two heart letters? Because the TH
I think we would say that the TH is a sound we're going to be learning in the future, and just tell them what it is. It's a digraph,
okay.
And then tell them what it is. So one is a sound that breaks the rules, but the other one is a sound that you're going to be learning way in the future, because this is a sound that's a hard sound to learn. So let's learn both sounds now.
Okay. I hope I'm not asking too many questions.
No, I asked that question myself. And when I looked at this decodable way, I said, I don't know. I still think that memorization is the way to go, because that's how I've been doing it for years, is all students memorizing the sight words. And I just changed my ways from the literacy specialist at Literacy How, because she brought this into play. And Charlene also introduced me to this website and doing it this particular way. So let's take a look at some of the words. So the word is to. So you just highlight and say, what sound does that make? To. Okay, now the heart word is going to make a different sound, ooh. So the word is, let's sweep and scoop and sweep, to, ooh, to. And then again, the same thing with you. What does you, this sound make? Y. And then this sound makes an oo, which is different. So you, oo, sweep, you. And the we just did. And this again, we would highlight, as you saw in the film, the digraph TH. We would teach this to our students who are doing Dot and Dan, because they aren't on digraphs yet. They're just on CVC words. And they aren't even on blends yet. So the is how this sounds. We're going to learn this in the future. And is the sound that's different. Scoop and sweep. The. And who I think is, it's not wa sound. It's this. I have supposed to put a heart, because this is, you have to learn both of these by heart on who. So you can also practice, once you do the decoding aspect of it, you can practice them with index cards, and I'm going to show you them on Jamboard board, because holding up index cards would be really too hard to see. So here's a couple of the sight words. So you might say, what sight word begins with sh? And then they would say, pull this one up. And then you say, do you know what that word is? And they might say she, they might not, and you would give it to them. What sight word begins with and then they would say this one here. And you'd say, do you know that word? They might know it, they might not it, and the word is my. Okay. Oops, what did I just do? Hi, we're all back again. Let me go back and share my screen. I hope I can find it. I'm a dangerous woman with a mouse. But I can't wait till I can do a workshop with all of you in person so I can give you eye contact and I could see you how far you're getting on what I'm teaching. I mean, now I'm just sort of doing guesswork. Go to the next one. Get to the arrow. Oh, geez. Okay, so no fears. I'm trying to get to the arrow and get the this out of the way. There. Now I can get to the arrow and get it out of the way. Sorry about that. Little technological practice here. So here, which letter begins with T? And they might pick this one because they see a T there and they're just learning as Kathy sees, they don't know the digraph. So they're gonna know it's the other one. This is the T. Do you know what word this is? This word is to. And you can give it to them if they don't know it. That's fine. On what word begins with the, and then again, they're gonna put this one. This word is the, and then you practice them together to the. Which word begins with G? And you know that word? And yeah, this word actually is phonetically sound because the O is an O and it's an open syllable, so go. And then yeah, and then you give them you, and the words are you and go. And you can say, all right, which one is you? They say it, which one is go? So you keep playing around with it. And then once they get them all done, then you're just gonna run through them. What's this word? You, what's this word? My, what's this word? To, and this is flipping down index cards. What's this word? Go, what's this word? She, what's this word? The. So you see how you can play with the cards and teach them according to how, when they're learning. So if there's a beginning learning stage, they're only gonna put a couple of cards down. If they're at the later stage and they know most of their sight words, you're gonna be throwing all the index cards down. Okay, we go back. So that's how to do it with index cards. There's a site where you can do rapid recognition. That's the site, you click on it and you can put the words in the boxes, or you can make your own boxes by folding a paper into multiple pieces and then writing the sight words in the boxes. And you can practice rapid recognition with the students. This is after they've kind of gotten the words decoded, they've seen the words, they're recognizing the words, but this is to increase fluency in reading. So you go and you read the words from left to right. My, she, the, to, you, go, you, and see how they repeat to, the, she, my. And that site will actually, click and put them in different places for you, and then you can print them out. When you're given the PowerPoint, you'll be given that particular site, so you can just click on it and go to it. To, the, my, she, go, you, the, go, you, she, to. See how like about 5 words repeat over and over, 6 words repeat over and over again. So that gives them multiple exposure. Sight word games. We have sight word popcorn, sight word slide, sight word bingo on site. We have the index cards that you can use. We have stickies that you can use. And online, the site staff can put this in. We have a game that you can practice. And I'm going to bring up the game. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of the spinning wheel here. Let's see how some of these games work. Kids love these games. give it a spin. And then it points to the sight word, and if they get it, you eliminate it, give it a spin again. Comes to a word. 2, they get it, then you eliminate it, and then you get the idea, and then they have some other games. Let me see if I can go back and pick up some of the other ones. There's Whack the Mole. You can play this a couple of different ways. You can have them find the sight word, or you can give them the sight word and have them whack the mole. Actually has a lot of games like this too. Okay, can you tell me where the sight word could is? I like whacking the mole. Can you tell me where the sight word give is? Can you tell me where the sight word when is? Are there any other sight words? So get an idea how that one works. Then there's another one where you drop the word in the train. Quite a few of them, actually. And for sight words, you don't have to pay for it. When you go and start making other, using it for other strategies, you do have to pay for it, but I've never had to pay for it for using sight words. And then you drop it, word, mine, you drop it in the cart. Plane tells you your scores. So this is called wordwall.net, and then type in sight words and it'll go right directly to the sight word application. Okay, so that's a little fun that you can have, and the kids are like, wow, we got game time early. And it's, yeah, you're kind of tricking them because they're working on their sight words, and it's an actual working process and not a game process, but for them it looks like game time. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Go to questions, but I want to be able to see everybody. So this brings me back. I didn't lose it too many times. So yeah, thanks, John. You're always so encouraging. How'd that go? How was the pacing on that? Did you get ideas? And again, when you're doing sight words, first use the heart word method. And actually, I wanted to show you that board. So I'm going to share my screen one more time. I forgot to show you something. I can get back to it. Here we go. So you have your paper that I sent out to you. So this gives you an idea of how to segment your sight words and decode them. So the S is, of course, one that is what it sounds like. The AI is different. So we're gonna have the kids color in the heart there. And then the D is a sound they know. And let's talk about the heart that you just colored in. That makes a different sound. That makes the S sound. Now let's say the word. Scoop the sweep, said. And then again, you go on. A sight word is from. Which one do you know? For, Okay, what else? Do you know the O? Is that from? No, it's not. So it doesn't follow the rule. Let's color that heart in. So give the kids a red pen or something, crayon, color that in, and then you have the sound. And what's this? The O is sound. So let's say the word from, sweep from. And then his, the H is the same, the I is the same, and then this S makes the Z sound. So that you put the heart in, and H is scoop and sweep. If you're gonna say anything tonight in your sleep, it's gonna be scoop and sweep. I have a feeling, because I think I said that a lot. They're both part words. So you're going to color in both and then give the sound for each individual. Of. Could, what do you know? K. So we leave it the same. OLD is different. Put a heart over that. We don't know that one. What about the D? Do you know the D? Yes, I know the D. It's D. So now this one is sound. So it's k, d, could. So those are your decodable sheets for the sight words. And then after they learn them by decoding, I would do Jamboard repetition or index card repetition, and also your game and the rapid recognition chart. So let me stop sharing. I want to make sure I showed you that. Okay, now questions. I think I got everything in. John.
Mary, and I think this is just for all the staff too. Just a comment about the entire process, both this process as well as the other traditional ones we're using too. There is so much to do in 45 minutes with all of our kids. For me, emotionally, I have to have a foundation about how I feel and what am I accomplishing in 45 minutes, trying to get everything done when I physically can't, because the kids come with all sorts of things. I have there's a variety of issues that slows that down. You just can't do it all. For me, doing just a little is a positive thing for these kids, and that has to be in my mind all the time. Otherwise, I'm going to leave each session depressed, because I couldn't get it all done.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I
mean? So this whole sequence is to be done over a 2-day or 3-day practice. So everything on our lesson plan list, if you don't get to everything, that's fine. I mean, I go in, which is a really intensified program, the RISE program, and I substitute, and they have a list like this long of things to do. And I never, when I'm substituting, I never get everything done. I get part of it done. So if you start off and you're doing the Kilpatrick and you're doing say and move it, and that's all you're getting in with this particular student, because that's developmentally as much as they can get in, definitely only do the 2. Don't do the whole list. Don't feel obligated to do everything on the lesson plan list. It's sort of like when I have a party, I cook for like 20 people, but I'm only having 5 people over because I want to make sure everybody gets something to eat and we have something there to eat. So that is a good point. You do not have to do all of it. Site staff said, well, what should I do? What should I focus on? I said, if you're just getting 2 things in, that's a good thing. If once they pick up the rhythm of how it goes, it's going to go a lot faster. Then add another component to the SLI transition. Getting it all in, I don't get it all in. I'll sometimes I won't do blends. I'll do say and move it and sound letter mapping and the Kilpatrick, and that's it. Then I go to the book, and then I go and I don't even finish the whole book. Then I'll go to the book on the 2nd day. Most of our SLI students are on 2 days, so you have 2 days to accomplish that. However, that given, if the Kilpatrick is always changing, so that is always something. But if you're doing say and move it and they didn't get the words the last session, go back to it. If they did get it, then you're going to start with a sound letter mapping, or you're going to start with a blending. So that's how you're going to be able to pace yourself, because this program is set up as a supplement to the other programs that they're doing. They're still doing their Lexia. Lexia is a wonderful program. It does all these things that I taught you. Sight words, there's a lot of sight word games on Lexia, and they're still going to be working in their workbooks.
Yeah, and if I could just piggyback on that point, Mary, exactly. So the term SLI, structured literacy intervention. So the goal here is to build your tutor toolkit, or your strategies that you can employ with your kids. So these intervention strategies and practices, it's, as Mary said, the pacing, the kids will kind of dictate the pacing. And as you pick up the momentum on it, you'll be able to do more. And so, yeah, I just wanted to echo Mary's point and John's point that we are making a difference. And these are extra tools. These are extra resources that if your students need and would benefit from these practices, let's use them, right? Thank Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, John.
Yeah, and even if your student isn't needing them and we come across a student who is appropriate for the foundations and the SLI program, then we might be asking you to jump in and work with that student instead of the one you're working with, or in addition to if you have hours. I know you guys given a lot of hours. Oh my gosh, you're here on a Saturday. What dedication. Thank you so much. And really for me, what a way to brighten up the day when so many horrible things are going on in the world. It just makes my day to know that you are so addicted to reading. And when I go to the sites and I hear that buzz of the kids reading and the staff reading, that's better than the ocean waves. You know, I would rather listen to that for my 20-minute meditation than the ocean waves. So, Helena, I'm not ignoring you. I see you have your hand up. So, your question?
Yeah. So thank you for doing this. I thought it was very interesting. I was wondering, if you have a student who is pretty good at reading and sounding very basic words, but then struggles for longer words or more uncommon or complicated words, is there a good way to use these techniques with longer words as well? Or are they meant for shorter, really getting the sounds right?
No, they are used for multi-syllabic words as well. And I've used them. Oh, there you are. Oh, you moved.
Yeah, I took down the hand. That's why.
No, your space on the board moved. It was so funny. I was giving you eye contact in the corner. Of course, you don't know that. And then I was like, wait, where is she? Yeah, that is another workshop in and of itself. So yes, it can be applied. So now you know CVC words. So like I said, lesson is 2 CVC words in one, if you think about it, or syllables. Less, right? And then sun, and then less sun. And breaking them down and using syllables and syllable types is how we do it with the older kids using multisyllabic words that are difficult. Right now I'm working with a 9th grader, and we just go through the text before he reads it, and we pull out all the multisyllabic words that he doesn't know, and we break them down into say and move the components, then we string them all together, and he gets them.
Okay.
And then we put the card right there. Then I'm gonna go back in and reading. So for now, I would recommend taking a strip of paper. I have some, I can give you some. And are you teaching from home or are you teaching in person?
I'm teaching online, so remote.
Oh, so cut strips of paper like this long, and then write the syllable out, and then sound out individual syllables, and then what you're going to do, instead of scooping individual sounds, you're going to scoop the syllables and then sweep, and then your student will be able to decode the more difficult multisyllabic words. I've had a lot of success with that with this 9th grader who's reading on a 3rd grade level, but he's really picking up the words and he remembers them when we come to them in the book. So do that beforehand.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And practice. You're welcome. Kathy, you have another question for me?
Yes, it has to do with the particular student that I'm working with. I don't know if he's got a computer yet, but if he does, I'm not sure where to start him in this program because he has a lot of words that he knows. He's a very strong visual reader.
He is a very strong visual learner. So I would keep it on that level. I would keep it visual.
But I can see, for instance, you had sent me a link for the different levels of the fly leaf books.
Yeah.
And I looked through them and thought that the 3rd level he would be able to do.
Good.
So I should start there?
Oh yeah, always start there. Always start at the level they are. One of the things that I'm going to add to the workshop, the next workshop, which is not part of the lesson plan, is what is the scope and sequence of the type of words the kids are learning. Some decodable books follow one scoop and sequence, some follow another, but they're pretty much still on the same level. So for example, first there's the consonant, vowel, consonant words, then there's consonant, consonant, which are blends, vowel, consonant, consonant words, and then there's vowel, R controlled, then there's vowel teams, and then there's digraphs. So all of the different types of words that you'll be, there's a magic E. So I will be putting scope and sequence into the next presentation so you know where to start, because most of your students, some of them will be starting with CVC words, but a lot of them have already been in the program for a while, like your particular student has been in the program a while, and he's really moving along to higher levels. And once he outgrows Flyleaf, we have other programs that will be able to give access to him to read for higher level books. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you to the New Haven Read staff, Julie, Fernanda, and Haley, and Charlene for supporting me on this. And thank you for getting me started when I couldn't even find the,
of course,
all those wonderful tabs I opened. I said, I know I opened those tabs this morning when I got up. I was like, gotta open those tabs, have them ready.
We got you. We're a team. We're a team here, right? And so
thank you very much for that.
I think we've reached the end of the presentation. You see what I did there, Mary, with the word the end, right?
But there we go. In that case, no heart over that E.
Excellent. And I want to echo Mary's gratitude for everybody joining us this morning. And I want to give a shout out to Mary for a wonderful, excellent presentation this morning. Very, very informative.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
We're in this together, so thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful Saturday afternoon, and we hope to see you soon.
Yep. Enjoy the day. It's a nice one. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Have a great weekend.